Hi, this is G1 on Warthunder. Today I'm going to comment on my footage about jets. So, since I'm a turn fighter, and since a lot of guys don't like to play jets, here I'm going to show you footage that will encourage you maybe to try to fly some jets. So this is a battle ranking 9. The mig15 bis is a German variant of the mig15. Of course, my plane is fully upgraded. It has all the good upgrades and the speed necessary to play in this kind of battles. So of course, the idea, as in any other gameplay I will show you, is to try to keep your altitude. So best always is to climb in the beginning of the match and then try to manage your altitude and your speed. So now I had altitude, I'm converting it to speed and trying to follow an F104. An F104 is much faster than my plane, but here I used the opportunity while he was dogfighting someone else to approach him and to stay on his 6. Of course, I don't like too much to follow guys like this, because if you notice, it's not really a good situational awareness when you're trying to shoot someone. Always you're vulnerable to be able shot by someone else. So here I spent all my ammunition, almost, and nothing, and then shot him with my last bullet. Now my plane is reloading. Here you don't see on the radar, I see someone else coming in from I6, so practically I'm waiting to trap him here. So here he is, he begins to shoot. Of course I begin to wave, try to just make a loop and use his speed against him. As you can see, he could not stay on my 6 very long. He surpassed me, and I used the opportunity to get on his 6 and land a few shots, which ended up being his death. Okay, now let's fast forward a little bit, since the footage is not too interesting. I play with low fuel, so I have to go to my base to refuel. Also, I'm a little bit damaged, so it would be nice to repair the damage. Meanwhile, I thought maybe give a hand to my teammates by killing this super mister, but they did it before I came to rescue. So let's go. Base, refueling, repairing. I fast forwarded not to be boring for you, so but not to lose the idea of what I did in the game. So now, okay, game is already in a latest stage, almost finished, so practically I had 2 kills, reloading, repairing and coming back to action. Time for another encounter. Here the F3H2 will be my opponent. Of course, he will try to frontal me, not allowed with me. As you could see in my prop games, this is no. And now, of course, my landing flaps are down and he's almost done here. Spending a little bit more ammo than necessary, but certainly he will end up dead. So for those of you that don't like jets, this is an encouragement to show you that jets are not much harder to play. Next footage I will be showing you one other game I played with the mig15. It's all about altitude, of course. So here it is. I gained my altitude and began to search for targets. Of course, unfortunately, everybody was low this game, so my altitude wasn't that of an advantage in a sense of avoiding others, but it was a good starting point to acquire a lot of speed. As you can see, I am doing almost 1000 kilometers per hour, which for this plane is the maximum, and with that kind of speed you're very hard to catch or to be in a position to ask yourself what is going on from behind. So here I used the opportunity to shoot another guy. As you could see, he was like a sitting duck, even if an A4E is a faster plane by default from the mig15, but if you stay slow with that plane, it's like any other slow plane, so you die relatively quickly. And as you could see, some guys are coming in BR9 to do props, so I cannot understand really those guys, because props here has no chance at all. They can eventually hit you in some frontal or something, so it can be an opportunistic shot, but never a sure thing. Okay, as you can see now, reset my speed around 5000, searching for another target. So here, of course, acquiring a little bit of speed, still keeping altitude sufficient to be able to counter anyone or anything. This is an A4E now. I will try, of course, to shoot. So I'm coming with a lot of speed. As you can see, my speedometer is showing red. And that, I don't know, this was an easy kill. I don't know what the guy thought doing there, or he was maybe damaged before I came in, so he practically just tried to avoid me, didn't even counter my attack. So I'm not sure if he was damaged or just simply thinking that he has a faster plane and that MiG is not a threat, but as I shown you, I was flying around 1000 kilometers an hour, which in this case is closing on an enemy extremely fast. Even if he has a faster plane and he's slow, he cannot accelerate this quickly. So 3 targets down, more to go. So here now, what I don't like very much is, of course, you get impatient, and of course it will cost me my plane in this case, as impatience always costs you some making mistakes, etc. So here, as you can see, I am in an ideal position where I'm higher than the rest of the bunch. And now we'll try to engage some of these guys. Of course, I don't like frontals, so even maybe if this guy could have been killed in a frontal, I simply don't play this luck. So here we didn't really engage in a real turn fight, so it was more or less like, you know, measuring forces with each other, and then we got closer and became really a turn, and of course here the MiG is a superior turn plane than the G91 is, so although I planned to shot him, someone else did it instead of me. I got an assist for this, so not too bad. And now Of course, my speed is a little bit low, so I'm diving to regain more speed. See if any target presents to me so I can have a clear shot. Here obviously this guy is gonna run from me, so not a good position to shoot, especially with this guy coming in with the mig15. Here one more opponent I didn't even notice. So here, as you can see, as lower you go, more chances are that someone appears in your 6 and you didn't even notice him arriving. And now you find yourself defending from him, and of course someone else will use the opportunity to shoot you. Here also my poor shooting, I could already kill him, but unfortunately I emptied my cannon and finally got some lucky shots with non-guided rockets, which is a nice thing, but you know, in this situation it wasn't really intended to hit. And now trying to outmaneuver the mig15, of course completely lost the sense of my surroundings, so now easy target, have no idea who comes from where, only trying to clear the enemy in front of me. It's called tunnel vision, and it's not called tunnel vision for nothing. And here now I'm too much slow. The Votur is coming on me, trying to dodge, but with this kind of speed, practically impossible to dodge something like this. You end up dead. Let's continue with another nice fight. Here an F5 arriving on frontal, of course no frontal allowed. So I break, I drag him up, and he took the bait, he wants to dogfight with me. So here I spray a little bit, but I'm too late, so I have to catch up a little bit, and here it is. So a good shot. mig15 is excellent for this kind of stuff. I don't know if the guys are not aware of this or what, but when they begin turn fighting like this with the mig15, it's practically death sentence for them. The only luck they can have is eventually to run away, to try to dive, because I'm not too eager to follow them and trade my altitude for their escape, you know. So the only chance in a turn fight with a MiG is to run, practically. Okay, so the first one is dead. Here I showed you just a little bit of footage, a guy with an I-16, which is a biplane or something like this, you know, from the 20s, 30s era. He's flying a mission with jets, of course, in vain, because these kinds of plane don't work in this BR. Okay, meantime I was resetting my altitude and choose to chase the F-84F. So this is like, you know, bus. It's not really a big adversary for me. It's only can maintain its speed, but except that I find nothing really interesting in this plane. I tried to fly it, but really cannot understand what is the virtue of this plane. So here it is. I began to follow him, of course, watching my surroundings, trying as much as possible to be aware of what is going on around while chasing him. So I try to have a bigger view while watching where he's going and closing the distance with him. Of course I dive also, I gain speed. The MiG is a very good energy retention plane. I mean, he can keep up at around 900 without any problem. Now here the problem is that I'm not a good aim, as you could see in my previous games. Maybe aim is not really my virtue, so I emptied all my guns and I tried to kill him with rockets, and it works. So it was a salvo, or not a real salvo, but I triggered a lot of rockets in a short period, so I tried to do a salvo, but manual salvo, and I tried to spread them a little bit around the target, so this way one could eventually reach the target, so he got practically killed by an unguided rocket, which I found very difficult. So maybe the most difficult is when you aim with those kinds of things. You see me killing previously in a game one guy with rockets also, but I assure you it's not that common. So let's continue the F9F. So this, I thought it was going to be an easy target, but unfortunately for me the guy killed himself, so there was no need for me to kill him. He couldn't pull out of his dive, so unfortunately one less kill for me, although I was pretty sure that he was mine, but never mind. Okay, we reset now, and as you can see left on the screen there is a fight going on between a Harrier and a teammate of mine. The Harrier is pursuing a teammate of mine, and this was done by caution, because I wasn't sure if maybe the guy won't break and just dive on me, so the most logical thing to do was to follow his path and try maybe to cross his path and shoot him, but unfortunately this time it didn't work. Sometimes it does, but it was more out of caution to be assured that he doesn't engage me when chasing my teammate. And here is one more guy arriving, so it's a Swift, and the guy is aware that I'm here. He has a teammate that is conscious that I'm chasing it, and he's trying to cross my path, but unfortunately he couldn't reach me or touch me. And now turn fight with the Swift F1. Of course, Swift F1 is a sitting duck in this story, and as you can see he ends up dead. So 3 kills for the mig this time, not too bad at all.